Did you know that in Canada, a country known for its politeness and safety, hundreds of murder cases remain unsolved every single year? What if I told you some of these stories are so strange, so chilling, they feel like they're straight out of a horror movie? Today, we're stepping away from the scenic landscapes and friendly faces to explore the shadows. We're diving deep into 5 of Canada's most perplexing and haunting unsolved mysteries. These aren't just stories, they're real-life tragedies that have left a permanent scar on the nation's psyche. For every headline that fades, there's a family left in a state of suspended grief, trapped in a nightmare with no end. Investigators hit dead ends, leads run cold, and communities are left looking over their shoulders. These cases represent the ultimate frustration, the absence of justice, and the agonizing silence of unanswered questions. Why did this happen? Who is responsible? And could they still be out there? The lack of closure is a unique kind of torment, an open wound that refuses to heal for the loved ones left behind, and a chilling reminder to the public that sometimes the monsters are real and they get away with it. Let's begin our journey into the heart of Canada's darkness. Our first case takes us to Vancouver in 1947, and it has a story that has baffled investigators for over 7 decades, the case of the babes in the woods. A groundskeeper in Stanley Park stumbled upon a gruesome discovery near Beaver Lake, the skeletal remains of 2 young children, concealed by a woman's coat. They were a boy, estimated to be around 7, and a girl, around 8. A hatchet was found nearby, which was determined to be the murder weapon. Despite extensive investigation, the children were never identified. Who were they? Who could commit such a horrific act against 2 innocent children and then just vanish? For years, they were known only as the babes in the woods, their identities and their killer lost to time. In a stunning breakthrough in 2022, DNA technology finally gave them their names back. They were Derek and David Dalton. But this only deepened the mystery. Why were they killed? And who was the woman whose coat was used to cover them? The biggest question of all, the identity of their killer, remains a chilling secret held by Stanley Park. Next, we travel to Antigonish, Nova Scotia in 1989 to the strange and tragic case of the St. Francis Xavier University martyrs. In the early morning hours of December 13th, a fire alarm blared through the co-ed Morrison Hall dormitory. As students evacuated, they made a horrific discovery. 3 members of the same family, Derek, Brian, and Alan, all members of the prominent Carroll family, were found dead in their rooms. The scene was brutal. But what made it truly bizarre was the complete lack of a clear motive. Nothing was stolen. The victims were well-liked and had no known enemies. The police investigation was massive, interviewing thousands of people, but they never found a suspect or a weapon. Theories ranged from a random act of violence to a targeted hit, but nothing ever stuck. How could someone commit a triple homicide in a busy university dorm and disappear without a trace? The campus of St. Francis Xavier holds a dark secret, and the Carroll family is still waiting for justice. Our third mystery takes us to the vast, isolated wilderness of the Yukon in 1997. It's the story of the annihilated family of Watson Lake. On an otherwise quiet day, the bodies of Ronald, his wife Marion, and their 2 children, 12-year-old Crystal and 11-year-old Jodine, were discovered in their home. The scene was one of unimaginable violence. Investigators were immediately struck by the sheer brutality and the lack of any obvious reason for the attack. The family was described as quiet and hardworking, living a simple life in the small northern town. The case quickly went cold. There were no witnesses, no forensic evidence leading to a suspect, and no motive anyone could fathom. Was it someone they knew? A stranger passing through? The remoteness of Watson Lake meant the killer could have come from anywhere and disappeared back into the wilderness. The entire community was gripped by fear, and the case of the annihilated family remains one of Canada's most brutal and mystifying unsolved mass murders. Now we head to Toronto, Ontario, for a case that has become a piece of Canadian folklore: the disappearance of Ambrose Small in 1919. Ambrose was a theater magnate, a millionaire who had just sold his entire chain of theaters for a colossal sum of money. On December 2, 1919, after depositing a check for $1 million, he met with his lawyer, had lunch, and then walked out into the Toronto afternoon, and was never seen again. He simply vanished into thin air. Did he run off to start a new life with his fortune? Was he kidnapped and murdered for his money? His wife was an initial suspect, as was his disgruntled secretary. Even the police were suspected of a cover-up. The case was a media sensation, filled with tales of secret mistresses, gambling debts, and family feuds. Investigators chased leads across North America. Psychics offered their visions, but not a single trace of Ambrose Small was ever found. His body, his money, and his fate remain one of the greatest vanishing acts in Canadian history. Finally, we come to one of the most infamous and widespread mysteries in Canadian history: the Highway of Tears. This is not a single case, but a tragic collection of them. It refers to a desolate 725-kilometer stretch of Highway 16 between Prince George and Prince Rupert in British Columbia. Since the 1970s, an alarming number of women and girls, the majority of them Indigenous, have disappeared or been found murdered along this corridor. The official number is around 18, but Indigenous organizations estimate the true number could be over 50. The cases are heartbreakingly similar. Young women, often hitchhiking due to a lack of public transport, vanish without a trace. The vast, rugged terrain makes searching incredibly difficult, and evidence is often scarce. While one serial killer, Bobby Jack Fowler, was linked to some of the cases, he can't account for all of them. Is there another predator, or multiple, who have used this isolated highway as their hunting ground for decades? The Highway of Tears is a national tragedy, a symbol of systemic failure, and a haunting reminder of the dozens of women whose stories have no ending. Of all these chilling tales, what truly haunts me is a detail from the Babes in the Woods case. For over 70 years, those two little boys lay in anonymous graves. But even after they were identified as Derek and David Dalton, the central mystery only deepened. Their mother, Eileen, died in 1996, and records show she had other children who lived full lives. So why were these two boys taken to the park and brutally killed? Was the mother involved? Was she a victim herself? The fact that we can now put names to their faces but are no closer to understanding their final moments is the ultimate ghost story. It's the recurring theme across all these cases. The closer you look, the more questions you find. The truth feels just out of reach, a faint whisper in the Canadian wilderness that we can't quite make out. It is a chilling reminder that knowing a victim's name isn't the same as knowing their story, and for these 5 cases, the final chapter has yet to be written. From the forests of Stanley Park to the lonely highways of British Columbia, these stories linger in the Canadian consciousness. They are stark reminders that even in a country celebrated for its peace, darkness can take root and secrets can remain buried for generations. The passage of time does little to dull the pain for the families or the chill these mysteries send down our spines. What are your thoughts on these cases? Do you have a theory about what happened to Ambrose Small, or who is responsible for the tragedies on the Highway of Tears? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If you find these deep dives into the unknown as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more explorations into true crime's darkest corners. Thanks for watching.